throughout our history, our nation has always been a nation that blessed God.
Well, Lincoln and Jefferson were not religious,
Right.
so it's not all.
And neither was Thomas Paine. Patrick Henry was. The founding fathers were diverse. What they did, they got together, Christians and all the rest of them, got together and put together a secular constitution.
All right,
that's
all history. Let's talk today. I
Yeah.
could see, Harry, that he, as an atheist, going into a courthouse with a big cross or the Ten Commandments, would think, boy, this court isn't going to be fair to me.
Well, he would be absolutely wrong. There are over 53 expressions of the Ten Commandments on our nation's highest court, in the Supreme Court.
I am surprised to see "in God we trust" on all the currency. This is not something the founders did. It started to appear in the time of the Civil War. It appeared on coins. It didn't appear on the dollar bills until I was 10 years old.
Look,
This is politicians monkeying around.
well, our founders acknowledged God in our very foundational document, the Declaration of
Acknowledged it.
Independence.
It's different from putting them on every coin.
Patrick Henry, who was brought up, said that when a people forgets God, tyrants forge their chains. I've lived in a nation where God was forgotten.
You're from Romania.
I grew up in communist Romania, and I experienced the chains that the tyrants forged because they forgot. They refused to acknowledge that our rights come from God. They said our rights come from man or from government, in which
They
case
also
we
were
can take them away
communist
from you.
totalitarians, God or not, they would have been bad news.
Once you take God and morals out of the equation, the sky is the limit, my friend.
Once you take God out of the equation, everybody is free to make their own decisions, okay? This country, we can debate the history all we want. The question is, do we want a nation that picks and chooses who gets more rights than others, or do we want a nation of equals? My opponent here does not
Some would
want
say
a nation of
you
equals.
atheists are obnoxious, objecting to these crosses which are harmless, or the Ten Commandments, getting in everybody's face.
They're not
Your
harmless.
rights aren't being threatened.
Every step away from the separation of church and state is a step away from religious freedom, a step away from religious equality, and a step toward theocracy. And yes, it does harm us.
For example, how? Where?
When you're an American citizen and the money says that you're a second-class citizen, it harms you. When the Pledge of Allegiance is told to your kids and they have to pray to a God, they have to acknowledge God every day against your wishes, that harms you just as much as
Gary,
you
what
are
about
married.
that?
It is not coercive nor oppressive for an atheist to allow his fellow man to express their public belief in God. That's just common sense. That's just good manners.
Why should churches have a tax deduction?
Aha.
Churches, like all 501c3s, whether religious or not, provide an important service to the public.
Churches don't even have to turn in the IRS forms.
Well, you want separation of church and state. Certainly you don't want government to
You see
decide.
all these giant churches sitting empty 6 days a week,
Paying no property
Look,
taxes
Look, the United
and not filing their forms. Billions of dollars, billions and billions of dollars goes into the church, and we can't.
The United Way provides a
figure out how much it is.
valuable service to the public, so do churches. But if you have the government reviewing the forms of the churches, deciding which churches have proper beliefs and not, that's not separation of church and state.
your group has to file different forms.
We have to file forms. Churches don't. We have to file 990s every year. If you want to go to the government, we have to report our income every year. We have to report how we're spending our money every year. We have to defend our nonprofit status every year. Churches don't because they're churches. That's religious
Sounds like government
discrimination.
favoring.
Yes, it is.
No, that's not true at all. They don't, because government shall make no law respecting an establishment
It's
of
not
religion.
establishing a religion. You recognize the IRS tax code differentiates between secular and church and religious
What I
organizations.
recognize, David, is that you made this exact claim in a federal lawsuit, and you
You're
lost
avoiding my question.
flat out.
We're out of time
lost
here.
flat
Thank
out.
you.
The lawsuit
You're
was
avoiding the
dismissed.
question.
Thank you, Harry, David. Coming up, the surprising result when government neglected religion turned out to be good news for religious people.